Hi, I'm Brittany Olivares. I don't know what else to say after that. Okay. Okay, so my first experience with Christ, that he was real to me, would have to be whenever I switched from being a Catholic to a Christian. I grew up Catholic, and then somehow in, what was it, junior year, my family stopped going to church, and I was the only one still continuing to go to church because I went to a Catholic school. And in that time, I was kind of confused as to why my family had stopped going, and so I asked them, and they had just said that they didn't agree with a lot of things. And so whenever they had said that, I thought, well, we can't just not go somewhere, like we have to do something about it. And so I begged my mom, my sister and I begged my mom that if we could try a different church. And so she told me about a non-denominational church, and so we went. The first time I ever walked into like a Christian non-denominational church, I remember walking inside and just feeling all this joy that just overflowed into me. And I remember sitting through the whole service and just being like so in awe of something I've never felt before, something I never experienced from what I was used to. And from then I was like, okay, like this is something that I want to seek and I want to explore and build a relationship on. So since I was at the Catholic school, all my friends were also Catholic. And so whenever I decided to make the switch to becoming a Christian, I remember in class, I told my friends about it, that I was no longer going to be doing that and like participating in that. And they started making fun of me and started being kind of rude about it and saying stuff about like, well, like you're not even really going to church, like that's not actually a church, like all they do is sing, like what are you doing? And so it's pretty hard for me to like be around people that I really cared about and like I thought like were really close to me, say hurtful things instead of them being uplifting and being like, oh, that's great, like you're seeking God, like, you know, you're doing something that's going to be good for you. It was more of like, what are you doing? You're dumb. And so it was pretty hard, but like I just kind of pushed through it and said like, you know, this is good for me, so I'm going to continue to do what's good for me, even if other people don't agree with it. Shortly after that, COVID hit. And so because of COVID, I couldn't see anybody anymore. I couldn't see my friends or family. I mean, I saw my closest family, but other than that, we're pretty much just stuck out in the country because I lived out in the country. So I was just very isolated from everybody. You know, because of all the isolation, I was able to just, you know, like it's just me and God. And so I was like, okay, well, like I'm going to use this time and the time alone to just dive in and like read the word and get to know what God has and what he says and know the truths that he's spoken over me. And so being a Catholic, like I didn't know who God was. I knew right from wrong. I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I knew the commandments. I thought I knew God, but like I really didn't know God. I just knew what he says in the sense of like what we need to be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. My life as a Catholic was pretty much me just trying to be obedient, and it was all pretty much religion. There was no relationship at all, and it wasn't until I made the switch to be Christian that I was like, oh my gosh, like it's not all about just obeying God, like there's so much more to it, and there's so much to come from that. Like it's not just fear of, you know, not doing what he says, but there's just all this joy that comes along with obeying and walking in obedience and getting to know the Lord and the joy that he has and the peace and the comfort and all the good things that he gives you and the hope that comes with him. Where I'm at now is like truly like the relationship with the Lord instead of the religion aspect. So a maturing point for me would be actually like putting in the work to get to know the Lord. I think something that I had to learn was that if I want something, then I'm going to have to be the one to do it. And if I want to grow, then no one else is going to fill me up in that way. Like no one else is going to pour into me the way that the Lord's going to pour into me, and everything else is just going to be an extra thing, but it's never going to be fully satisfying in the way that God satisfies. And so for me, it was just like reading my word every day and like spending time in prayer with the Lord and just being very intentional about what I do, what I seek, and like what I see and like who I surround myself with. That's been like very fulfilling in the sense of like, okay, like God's the one filling me up and like all these other things are just being added on and they're helping me and they're not straying me away from Christ. I would say someone who's new to faith to just really seek God and like know that there's so much. It's such an easy thing to say, like, yeah, just seek God, that's what everyone says. But truly like open your Bible and like be intentional with it and ask God, like, what do you have for me, and what can I give to you, and like how can I serve you, Lord, and like how can I build a relationship with you and like be truly like strong in my foundation with you. And so if you want to like build your relationship with Christ, it's as easy as you just opening the Bible and talking to him. A relationship is not hard to build, it's just hard to get to. And so it's hard to start it, but once you have it, it's something that's so easily built upon. My biggest like wow God moment, yeah, okay. My first time ever going to camp, to like a student camp, I was a leader and it was with my church back home, and I've never experienced like summer camp before or anything like that. And I remember going and I was a little like, I was a little nervous because I didn't really know the students, because at that time I was already here in San Antonio, but I went with my church back home from Victoria. So I was a little nervous because I didn't really know the kids and everything, and I was just asking God to like move through me for the students, but also like to like work within me as well. And I remember it was like the last night, and I remember just praying and like going on my knees before like the Lord during worship, and I was just like, God, like I just want my life to be for you, and that my life reflects your love to others. And I just remember hearing, like it was during, they were singing, I just remember like out of nowhere, like I just hear a voice, and the voice was so loud and clear, and it was just saying like, I am God and these are my people. And I remember I've never heard anything like that, and I was like, what the heck? And I was like, who said that? And I was like, what's going on? But no one was around me or nothing, and I was like what was that? And I've never experienced that. I know that was like the Lord speaking and being like, okay, like I am the Lord, and like everyone here is like are my people. From that I'm like, oh my gosh, like wow, like that's amazing. And just being like, okay, like everything I do is for you, but it's also for the people around him. And so it's building his kingdom, but also helping others like through their walk with Christ. And like it's not just like, yes, it's me and God, but it's me and God, but there's also, he has other people he's also, there for. And so I was like, oh, awesome. Like, okay, got you, God. Like,